Hello everyone, back tuning in to today's second video. I've already done the 5-day forecast. You can find the video sat here on the homepage. Just scroll down the page a little bit and it's above Snow Desk. There's also a written version. You can get to it from the buttons at the top of the page. Going to be generally quite cold through the 5 days coming up, but not as cold as we've had over the past few days. And by the end of the 5-day forecast period at the start of next week on Monday, we'll actually start to turn quite a bit milder, so I'll let you have a look at that. And so we think today's second video will extend out beyond the 5-day forecast period. We're going to go to the 7 to 10 day time frame. Takes us just before Christmas, and got a little bit of uncertainty creeping in now. So it looks like the first half of next week is going to have a lot of dry but very mild weather. What happens after that as we get up towards Christmas is a little bit more uncertain, and I'll show you the reason why in a second. We're going to start off though having a look at the weather right now and in the next few hours, because there could be some more wintry showers in the north and central parts of the country this evening and overnight in particular. Before you go on that, just say that the Christmas shop is still open, so if you've got any Christmas shop to do at Amazon between now and Christmas, just click the green button that says Gaz Christmas Shop. It takes you to our Christmas shop page, and then from there the key to it all will be to go through the Amazon banners. Christmas gone from Gaz office to Amazon, we get a royalty fee on the things that you buy when you arrive at Amazon. Still got quite a bit of time to get your shopping through. Time is getting on now, of course. They're very quick with delivery at Amazon, so you've still got time, but don't leave it too much longer. And a big thank you to everybody for doing that. Right, start off with a radar picture and show you this on the 5-day forecast. So we've got this defined band of rain coming southwards through England, and it's just about clearing Wales now. That is introducing colder air, so ahead of it it's quite mild. There's a thaw of the lying snow taking place. It's much milder with temperature, and also the rain is combining with the milder temperatures to get rid of most of the lying snow. But behind it, the air is turning colder again. So if I show you the, let's have a look at the dew point, you can see that around this band of heavy rain to the south and east of it, the dew points are generally around 6-7 degrees. But behind the band of rain across northern England and Wales, the dew points are dropping away to sort of 2 or 3 degrees. And going north in towards Scotland, into Northern Ireland, the dew point is actually now very close towards freezing. Now I've got this area of more persistent rain coming in through the Republic of Ireland as well. That is going to swing eastwards across central parts of the country, particularly affecting England and Wales this evening and overnight. And there is going to be the risk of some wintry weather coming through with that, some more sleet and snow. Now, I don't think we're going to get a dumping of snow such as we had sort of Saturday night and Sunday. We're going to get inches and inches of snow. But there could be a covering of snow to high levels, certainly across parts of northern England, in particular parts of Wales, possibly the north or west Midlands also being affected with that. And even on lower ground, there may be a bit of a slushy mix. It's going to be more of a wet type snow, so quite slushy, but certainly on low ground through parts of Wales, the Midlands and northern England, I wouldn't rule out the chance of some slushy wet snow this evening and tonight. And then later on in the night it may actually freeze and could be quite nasty tomorrow morning, perhaps a few places. This will be precipitation type forecast from the Weather Outlook. So this is based on the GFS. Well, this is for 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You see we've got lots of wet weather across England and Wales, showers turning wintry across western Scotland and Northern Ireland, with some of those coming down into northwestern England as well. Into this evening, that wintry weather gets more widespread. So this is 9 o'clock in the evening, where we've got wintry showers, snow showers through particularly northwestern parts of England down into Wales, into some parts of the Midlands as well. To the south and east of that, it's mainly rain. But this brings wintry showers even down to the very far south of the country by midnight. So almost anywhere could get a slushy sort of dusting of snow this evening, and on high ground I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get a covering. But we aren't talking about sort of dumping of snow that we had over in the or back in the weekend. Through to tomorrow, that all gets out of the way and we just have a wintry shower then draped around the coast, but many areas become dry through the course of tomorrow. But we aren't out of the woods for wintry weather. That's the message at the moment. Right, let's have a look at weather next week to 10 days then, and we'll have a look at the GFS ensembles. We're looking at Chelmsford in Essex. today. So we begin with the red line, which is the 30-year upper air temperature average, and we can see that at the moment we are colder than average. We're going to stay that way for the rest of the week and into weekend. Now, through the early part of next week, we're seeing a quite clear-cut lift up in the temperatures. So from Sunday through to the middle of next week, temperatures are going significantly milder. It's an area of high pressure that's bringing that, so it just depends on the exact nature of that high pressure, whether we feel these mild temperatures, or whether actually we're stuck under anticyclonic gloom, or even worse, if we're stuck under fog. If we're stuck under fog, then despite the temperatures going above 5 degrees at 850 HPA, way above average, it will feel quite cold if we're stuck under fog. Now, from around the 21st, 22nd of December onwards, that's when things are getting interesting, because you see there's a big split within the ensembles then. So we've got several members of the GFS ensembles, dates on the bottom, around the 23rd through to Christmas of December that are going cold. We've got several ensemble members that are going cold. We've got several ensemble members that are staying mild. The overall ensemble mean, which is this white line, that actually stays a little bit above average. So the GFS ensembles overall are continuing to forecast a milder than average run up to and over Christmas period. But there is a lot of scatter in there. There are several members of the GFS ensembles that are going cold, so you certainly wouldn't rule out excuse me, the chance of a cold return, or a cold reload, perhaps would be a better way of describing it, for Christmas. Christmas is not a done deal at the moment, one way or the other. These are the surface temperatures and air pressure ensembles. Again, we're looking at Chelmsford today. So, again, we're starting off quite cold at around 5 degrees. We're going to keep it cold through the rest of this week and into weekend. We're up to the 17th of December, just there, and starting to get the temperature much above freezing at that point, and still with night frost as well. So, the next sort of 4 or 5 days, they're going to be cold. Then we go into next week. Temperatures are lifting up, so we're going steadily upwards through the course of next week. By the middle of next week, we're up to around 10 degrees as our maximum temperature, and we're losing the night frost risk as well, and that carries us through much of next week. But then as we go up towards Christmas, we find that the temperatures are dropping a little bit. So that's Christmas Eve, for example, just there. Let's get rid of all those white, red lines. That's Christmas Eve, just there. And by that point, we are around 5 degrees as our temperature for Chelmsford. And many of the ensemble members are going frosty at night as well. So definitely there is evidence that after a milder first half of next week, we may start to see temperatures starting to drop. This is how the air pressure is looking. So again, we're starting low with the pressure at Chelmsford the next few days. Then we'll lift the pressure up steadily. Pressure really becoming very high indeed by the time we get through to the early part of next week. We're over 1,030 millibars. That's proper high pressure. And then whilst we do keep high-ish pressure going up towards Christmas, again, that's Christmas period just there, there is a gradual drop-off in the air pressure as we're getting towards Christmas, and maybe going a little bit beyond Christmas, because that's a very long way out. But perhaps again it's a suggestion that this high pressure that's going to bring them much milder conditions through the early part of next week might be on the move as we go up towards Christmas. And where it goes, of course, that will be the critical factor. Temperature anomalies are looking like this then. This is from the 13th, 21st of December. Still coming out a little bit colder than average, although we are losing the cold anomaly as we go day by day through this week and go further out into next week, if you see what I mean. So I would expect this to look mild and average by the time we look at this tomorrow. The real mild temperature anomalies, though, continue to be in the east and the southeast of Europe in the week ahead. Precipitation anomalies from the 13th to 21st December, they are coming out drier than average. So a little bit cooler than average and drier than average in the week ahead. In America, actually, many parts of the states are warmer than average. It's a little bit colder than average in the far northeast of the states. But otherwise, it's quite a mild scene, actually, for much of America in the week ahead. That's the temperature anomaly from the 13th to the 21st of December. Precipitation anomalies are looking like this. So overall, drier than average for many parts of the states. So milder and drier than average for the bulk of America. And then this is how the GFS is looking for Sunday, when we're finally losing those northerly winds and we're starting to build in an area of high pressure from the Atlantic. Now there's a warm front coming in on Sunday, so that warm front will be in that sort of position through the day, and that's introducing those milder winds from the southwest. But ahead of it, it is still quite cold with the air originating from the north. So I'd expect east airs are still going to be quite cold on Sunday. In the west, will turn milder, but the price you'll pay is outbreaks of rain. We get through into Monday and we find that high pressure is increasingly starting to take over the pattern then. So that's where the warm front is on Monday. It's clearing through the country, introducing those much milder winds from the Atlantic. That's how things look on Tuesday. The high pressure is extending up from the southwest. Its centre is still across the northern parts of Spain and the Bay of Biscay, but most parts of the country are under this area of high pressure, particularly England and Wales. It's a little bit more unsettled for Scotland and Northern Ireland. Southwesterly winds bringing some cloud and rain through them. But overall, it looks like high pressure is dominating, certainly through to the middle part of next week. The air with this high pressure is being pulled up from that sort of direction, so obviously it's going to be a lot milder. Just how close we are to this ridge in the south, whether we begin to fog up a little bit. If we do get a lot of fog through the middle part of next week across England and Wales, and especially in the south, that will limit the temperatures. But it is properly mild with the air mass by this point. So this continues up to Thursday, no real change. But then on Friday, we start, next Friday, this is 22nd of December, we're starting to introduce colder air down to our north and east. So there's a cold front that is pushing southwards just to our east, introducing these northerly winds. This is beginning to push a high pressure in that sort of direction. High pressure is trying to get back up towards Greenland again. So Buddy's trying to get us into a colder situation just before Christmas. That's how things look at day 10, which is Saturday the 23rd of December, when we are firmly back into a northerly flow. That high pressure is centering out to our west again. Deep area of low pressure will bring a lot of wintry weather to many central parts of Europe, by the way. So places like Denmark, northern Germany, Poland, going northwards into southern Scandinavia, so southern Sweden, places like that. You will get a lot of snow with that area of low pressure. We're just on the periphery of that, but the flow is turning into the north here. So these are the upper air temperatures for day 10, which is Saturday 23rd December, and that cold air is returning, particularly to northern and eastern parts of the country. We're just on the edges of that. A little bit beyond day 10 takes you to Christmas, and we keep a lot of high pressure going into Christmas, but its position is just out to our west, so this would be a relatively cold, dry, excuse me, again, cold, dry, and frosty Christmas. After Christmas, this particular run of the GFS wants to try and get that high pressure up towards Scandinavia. I'm not sure about that, but certainly we do get pretty close to putting down some really quite cold air there just before the Christmas period. It needs keeping an eye on. ECWF, though, looks very different. So this is the Sunday. Again, we're introducing that milder air from off the Atlantic on Sunday. Through the course of next week, we have the high pressure to our south, the low pressure out to the northwest. We're pulling up these very mild southwesterly winds. And that situation takes us into the middle part of next week as well. So we're up to Thursday, 21st of December now, and we're still in a mild west-south-westerly flow. It's turning a bit unsettled for Scotland and Northern Ireland, but for England and Wales, it's mainly dry. Again, we've got to watch out for fog down in the south, but this is a much milder air mass that we've got next week. And then we get to day 10, and unlike the GFS, which on Saturday, 23rd of December, is turning things colder from the north, or trying to turn things colder from the north, the ECWS says no, and it just keeps us in that westerly, southwesterly flow. So we're still really very mild here. We've got low pressure up to the north and to the west. We've got high pressure down to our south, and that's the way the flow and the wind direction is going from. No northerly winds there. Even for much of Central and Northern Europe, it's relatively mild, with the cold air really restricted to the far northeast of Europe. So big differences between the two models by day 10. The ECWF looks very mild, albeit a little bit unsettled, but the GFS does hint that we're going to try, or it is trying, to get wind back into the north just before Christmas. So obviously things aren't settled yet for Christmas. We do have a possibility, it's no more than that, we do have a possibility that we might have some quite cold weather coming up just before Christmas period. Where that would last into Christmas, of course, that is very speculative. But until we see these two models sort of agreeing on what happens here, I think we're going to have a little bit of uncertainty still about Christmas period, albeit I would suggest that cold conditions over Christmas look quite remote. It doesn't look like it's a great probability that we'll have cold conditions over Christmas, but we can't rule it out that we might get a read low from the north just before Christmas. So it's a case of watch this space, and we'll see how it goes. Right, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.